Hello everyone. Today, we bring you a story about a group of nuns who are unexpectedly drawn to love and desire. Their lives take an interesting turn when a young man enters their convent, and his presence sparks intrigue among them. The story begins during a time when a devastating plague is spreading across the land. We are introduced to Tandira, a painter working in a church. Tandira has not been paid for his work in a long time, so he goes to the priest to demand his wages, only to discover that the priest has passed away. Seizing the opportunity, Tandira decides to disguise himself as the new priest by wearing the priest's robes. Meanwhile, we meet Lorenzo, a young man being pursued by men after stealing money from Jonathan, a powerful government official. Jonathan is determined to exact revenge, but Lorenzo manages to narrowly escape. In another part of the story, we are introduced to Pampa, the daughter of a wealthy merchant. When her father dies from the plague, Jonathan visits her to offer his condolences. However, his gesture comes with a condition. He expects a personal favor in return. Pampa tells him she is already engaged to the Prince of Russia, who is soon to arrive. Jonathan then reveals that her father owed him a large debt, which he had paid off. As part of the agreement, her father had promised her hand in marriage to Jonathan. Despite this, Pampa insists she will keep her commitment to the prince. Elsewhere, Lorenzo is on horseback, fleeing from Jonathan's soldiers. Along the way, he encounters a man pushing a cart carrying a dead body. Curious, Lorenzo asks the man about the road ahead. The man explains that it leads to a convent filled with nuns and mentions that the body belongs to a deceased gardener. Lorenzo wonders if he might find work as a gardener there. However, the man points out that Lorenzo doesn't meet the requirements, as the previous gardener was both deaf and mute, qualities specifically desired for the position. Lorenzo jokingly remarks that being deaf and mute is hardly a unique qualification. As Lorenzo continues his escape, he climbs a tree to hide from the pursuing soldiers. Though they fail to spot him, the branch he is perched on eventually breaks, and Lorenzo falls to the ground, losing consciousness. Some time later, a group of nuns discovers Lorenzo and brings him back to their convent. Two of the nuns check on him, appearing fascinated by his presence, as if they haven't seen a man in years. One nun comments on whether he has suffered any injuries, but seems to hint at other interests. They begin to touch him, lifting his shirt and kissing his stomach. The experience leaves one nun entranced, prompting her to encourage the other to do the same. The second nun follows suit, also kissing him. Unbeknownst to them, Lorenzo is conscious but pretends to remain unconscious. When one of the nuns finally kisses him on the lips, Lorenzo suddenly opens his eyes, startling both women. At that moment, the Mother Superior arrives, and the nuns quickly cover their faces, explaining that they believe the man is both mute and deaf. The Mother Superior is pleased, thinking a mute and deaf man would be an ideal secret lover, as he could never reveal anything. She asks Lorenzo if he is indeed mute and deaf, and Lorenzo nods, pretending to confirm it. The Mother Superior then instructs the two nuns to bathe him. During the bath, the nuns engage in playful behavior with Lorenzo. Meanwhile, Pampa, troubled by Jonathan's pursuit, visits the church with her friends. The women are all virgins, and Pampa confides in them about Jonathan's intentions to marry her. Even though her marriage is already arranged with Prince Mark, she expresses her desire to marry Mark instead.